Honorable Mayor of Cochin, Advocate Anil Kumar Sir, respected Sri Loknath Pera Sir, Dr. Ravi Gupta, Sri Parag Kovarel, other distinguished guests on the dais and off the dais, esteemed leaders and stakeholders of the logistic and mobility ecosystem, and my dear participants. Good morning. It gives me immense pleasure to be amongst you on behalf of Cochin Port Authority and Ministry of Ports and Shipping at this significant gathering of 3rd ELTS National Railway and Mobility Infrastructure Summit. This platform is not just an opportunity for dialogue, but also a critical step toward shaping India's sustainable future. In the entire logistic chain, Ministry of Shipping plays a significant role as a transporter through water. We contribute for about 95% of the cargo that is being transported in the shore and into the country and outside the country, and about 75% by value through the 7,500 kilometer of shore length that we have in our country. Globally, shipping sector contributes for about 200 million tons of fossil fuel consumption and 3% of greenhouse emission. So in that way, shipping sector has a huge role to play in bringing in sustainable future of logistics sector. It is appropriate that as we deliberate on railway and mobility infrastructure with a focus on sustainability, I would like to bring the Ministry of Shipping's ambitious journey of maritime transformation guided by the Maritime Amrit Kaal Vision 2047 to position our nation as a global leader in sustainable maritime logistics. With a firm commitment to achieving net zero carbon emissions, the ministry is driving a comprehensive agenda focused on green energy adoption, technological innovation, and intermodal connectivity. Green energy transition, the commitment of Ministry of Shipping and Waterways is that as we consume about 7% of fuel consumption and 3% of global emission, it is time that the Ministry of Shipping and the entire maritime sector across the globe act decisively to bring in sustainable future. In India, all major ports are transitioning towards 100% green energy and aiming at 2047 and is likely to become carbon neutral by 2070. We have the Harit Sagar Green Port Guidelines launched in 2023 with a target to bring in 30% reduction in carbon emission by 2030 and by 70% by 2047. We are making significant strides in renewable energy with ports aiming for 60% energy from renewables by 2030 and 90% by 2047. We are also having an ambitious plan of establishing LNG bunkering in all the stations, all the ports. In future, we will also be having green hydrogen bunkering as and when it evolves. The sustainability innovations in maritime logistics are, number one, Ministry of Shipping is going in a big way in green hydrogen development. Our three major ports at Kandla, Paradeep, and Tuticorin are working on the green hydrogen production facility to produce about 10 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030. Even though the entire country is planning for 5 million tons by 2030, but the Ministry of Shipping itself is aiming to produce about 10 million tons of green hydrogen. We are having a very ambitious plan and we are working towards that. Also, whatever green energy that we are going to generate, we will also be having appropriate system for transport in internal consumption as well as for exporting it. And we have a complete green truck transition system that we have trucks in our ports which operate on fossil fuel, and that is getting converted into green truck. All the 12 major ports will be having green truck by 2040. We, as a country today, we don't have much of a ship ownership. Most of the ships which are transporting cargo are all mostly foreign, with the foreign blacks. But the government also is taking steps in manufacturing green ships for future. But as on today, about around 50% of the ships that are being manufactured in the world are on LNG. The fossil fuel manufacturing has almost come to a standstill. The future will be LNG, methanol, ammonia, and future technologies which is likely to come. Over and above having green energy ships, we also need to have green energy power supply at the shore for present. Presently, all the ships are coming with fossil fuel. So we are creating a system by which when the ship comes to the port, it can switch off, they can plug it into the shore power for its entire hotel load, as well as its normal maintenance which is required at the port. So about 50% of the ports will have shore power supply to the ships by 2030, and all the ports will be having by 2047. On the technology front, in which the entire team is going to deliberate on IT, AI, and other technological front, Ministry of Shipping also has taken a long lead into the technology, completely integrating all the stakeholders in the logistics sector into our national logistic portal, by which our entire transaction takes place end-to-end in a digital mode. With respect to carbon neutral ecosystem, we are also going to have about 14 green hydrogen and ammonia hubs. Cochin Port also is having a plan to create a pilot green hydrogen project, which will be commissioned by December 2025. And the entire organization and the ministry together is collaborating with academic institutions, industry stakeholders, and global partners to create a decarbonization shell for advancing green shipping technologies. To achieve these ambitious goals, we must act, all of us, railways, port, and road sector, together have to act collectively with the stakeholders, industrial leaders, policy makers, and innovators to collaborate on scaling investments in renewable energy and green fuels, strengthening public-private partnership to accelerate innovation, prioritizing sustainable practices across entire logistic value chain. In conclusion, as a member of Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, and as a member in Cochin City, I take this opportunity with a commitment to transforming India's maritime landscape into a sustainable and resilient ecosystem. Together, all of us can unlock new opportunities, foster global leadership, and leave a legacy of environmental stewardship for future generations to come. Thank you. Jai Hind.